all the Easter eggs and meaning in Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show. Bad Bunny didn't just headline the Super Bowl halftime show, he gave the world a cultural lecture disguised as a concert. And if you missed the symbolism, don't worry, I got you. We're going to unpack every last hidden message that we saw in the performance that happened last week at the Super Bowl. Right from the jump, the set transported the stadium into something that looked more like Puerto Rico than a football field itself. Sugarcane fields, coconut stands, domino tables, nail salons, street food vendors were all part of the scene. Those weren't random props, they were everyday symbols of life on the island the most Americans never see on this stage. Sugarcane references may pay homage to Puerto Rico's agricultural history rooted in colonial plantations. Standing stalls like Coco Frios, carts, domino players, taco stands, and everyday storefronts representing the life of the Lion community on this island. And also about the sugarcanes, the people that were enslaved and that were sent to those fields to cut the sugarcanes. That's another thing that I feel like Bad Bunny also made sure to showcase. Bad Bunny's outfit, Bad Bunny wore all white, traditional for Puerto Rican jibaros, which worked aesthetically but also nods to deep cultural identity and heritage. His jersey had the number 64, which can be read both as a personal tribute to a beloved uncle born in 1964 and a subtle reference to controversial death counts after Hurricane Maria, making the symbolism two layered but also very deep. And that's another thing that Bad Bunny is really good at doing, is that he connects the things that he does to so many symbolisms that sometimes it got you thinking, like, what is it? What is it that he did? You know, but it's so connected. Bad Bunny intentionally showcased cultural moments many Americans would never think twice about. Older folks playing dominoes, a staple of Puerto Rican community life. And when I'm saying Puerto Rican community life, you know, my audience knows I'm Dominican. Playing dominoes is not something that is exclusive to Puerto Rico. But being that Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican artist, that is why I'm saying it in the sense of, like, he's showing what his culture is, even though this is something universal for the Caribbean. Apiragua, shaved ice, which is very, very a huge staple in the Caribbean. El Apagón. During El Apagón, which is one of his songs, dancers climbed on sparking utility poles, a literal theatrical reference to Puerto Rico's ongoing power crisis after Hurricane Maria. And, you know, Dominicans look at that and they think, like, you know, Puerto Rican, after Hurricane Maria, Puerto Rico has been dealing with a bunch of blackouts in their island where people are losing power. They're not even being able to, you know, keep certain things on, like their fridge, and the food is going bad because of that. That's causing, people think about it like losing power is not a big deal, but it is a big deal because it makes your life harder in ways that, the fuck, like, think about it. What if you lost your power from 5 hours a day? The fuck are you gonna do? Especially if those 5 hours are at night when it's already dark out. So you don't have power and it's already dark out. Your entire house is pitch black. You're going to have to turn on candles. You're going to have to turn on old school lamps. When I was growing up in the Dominican Republic, that's what my mom did. That's what my grandparents did. They didn't have enough money to, a lot of people in the island would have generators, or they will have certain plants that in their house. And now I'm speaking from my Dominican side because, again, Puerto Rico may be new to this apagón stuff, but this is something that Dominicans have been dealing, Haitians have been dealing. I don't know on the other islands if it's the same way when it comes to blackouts, but specifically Dominicans and Haitians, because I know about that island, I can definitely tell you that this is something that they've been dealing for years. I've been alive for 28 years, and since I was born, Dominican Republic has been dealing with blackouts. And I know that it's been like that even for my parents, for my grandparents. So for centuries, for decades, blackouts have been a thing in the Dominican Republic. So it was very important for Bad Bunny to reference that at the Super Bowl because it showed the struggle with electricity, with energy in the Caribbean. And also the fact that there are people out there that are still dealing with this today. And also, energy and having the lights on is something that Americans take for granted so much. So I think it was very important to, and I hope that people get it, because to some people this was just him on a bunch of electrical utility poles. But for the ones that are getting the meanings of his performance, I hope they understand why that was that he did that, because it is important to know that even though Puerto Rico is American territory, they're dealing with a different way of life over there, and it's not the same to yours. The inclusion of the light blue Puerto Rican flag tied in real life to the independence movement wasn't accidental. Bad Bunny waved it while performing pieces that criticized colonization, gentrification, and cultural erasure. A lot of people don't know that about Puerto Rico. It had a light blue in its flag before, and I think it was very important for Bad Bunny to do that. Also, the dress that Lady Gaga was wearing was also light blue, and I don't think that was just something that was coincidental. I think that it was very important because she was also wearing the national Puerto Rican flower on her dress. A song performed by Ricky Martin, Lo Que Pasó a Hawaii, draws parallels between Puerto Rico's status and Hawaiians' colonization under the U.S., urging Puerto Ricans to protect their land and culture. The song that a lot of people saw Ricky Martin sing went over a lot of people's heads because the lyrics were in Spanish. He sings, Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa, which means they want to take away the lakes and they also want to take away the beaches. Quieren el barrio mío y que abuelita se vaya. They want to take my hood and they want to also make sure that my grandma leaves. No suelte la bandera ni olvide el lelolai. Don't forget about your patriotism. Don't forget about the flag. Don't forget about what makes you you. Que no quiero que hagan contigo lo que pasó a Hawaii. I don't want the same thing that happened to Hawaii to happen to you. What this song is basically saying that I'm not going to allow gentrification coming into my island and take away my island and suck it from the resources that the island has, and for you guys to industrialize and take over my island the way you guys did with Hawaii. So very important song that Ricky Martin was singing. One of the parts that I loved the most about Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance was when Lady Gaga performed. A lot of people, specifically me at first, when I saw Lady Gaga come out, I have to be honest, I was like, okay, I mean, if they really wanted to showcase Latin culture, they would have brought a bunch of, legendary Latin artists from Puerto Rico to come and, do the big one. But I watched the performance back and I paid close attention to everything that was happening before Lady Gaga came on, and it hit me. It was so symbolic. You see Bad Bunny. First, he's doing a monologue as he's walking through the field. And he's basically doing a monologue about believing in yourself, trusting yourself, going for what you want, having confidence and dreaming big and going for those dreams. And then he sings a part from one of his famous songs, Esto no es lo que tú querías. Esto no es lo que tú querías. We all know that part. And that translates to, isn't this what you wanted? And as he says, isn't this what you wanted? The camera pans to a heterosexual wedding that opens into Lady Gaga, a white woman performing. Bad Bunny made a pledge. I don't know if this is confirmed that he made this pledge, but a lot of people were demanding that he did not speak one word in English at this Super Bowl, that he kept everything in Spanish. For most part, he did. So when he says, isn't this what you wanted in Spanish, and the camera pans to Lady Gaga, a white woman singing in English, and not only singing in English, a white woman singing a salsa song in English. Also, I want to give a shout out to Lady Gaga for being an ally that was being used to make a point. That's the type of white allyship that I like. Because she said, listen, I don't give a fuck that what you're trying to say, that you're putting me in that spot of, isn't this what y'all wanted? A white woman, an American person, a white person singing in English. I don't care that you're using me to showcase that point. I'm still going to do it. Because I know that what you're trying to showcase is important. So shout out to Lady Gaga for being down to do that. But I thought that was so beautiful that he says, isn't this what you wanted? and the camera pans to a heterosexual marriage, a real marriage at that, and also to a white woman singing in English, a salsa song. So symbolic to the conservative MAGA community that has been attacking the Super Bowl ever since Bad Bunny was announced to be the halftime performer. Also, another thing that I thought was beautiful was at the finale, Bad Bunny held a football that read, "Together we are America." Then listed countries across the entire community, the American continent, not just the United States, as a statement that America is bigger than just one nation. And that's just the truth. It's so funny because so many countries have different type of PRs and regions of the world. The PR is different depending whatever region, right? So when people think about Africa, they think about Africa like Africa is one country. And y'all know that. Mind you, Africa is a continent. But when they think about America, they legitimately connect America to the United States, even though the Americas are composed of a bunch of countries, not just the United States. So I think it was important for Babani to put that while all of these flags are going across the stage, because together we are America, in the sense that he's trying to say, like, you know, it's not just the United States that takes ownership of this American region. All of these other countries also sit in the Americas. So it's important for you to acknowledge that and to know that that's the representation of not only culture, but also the population of the United States. And the only words that he said in English were "God bless America." And for white people to still have a problem with this, it's like insane. Because my ass wouldn't even have said "God bless America." I would have sung my songs. I would have had all them flags up in there. Not the American one. I would have had all them flags up in there. And I would have did my big one in my language and kept it up. Kept at that. So he even said, "God bless America." And y'all still had a problem with it? Y'all really need to check yourselves. However, I will be real and I will say my personal opinion also about the halftime performance. And this is not to be confused. I am not questioning the symbolism and I am not knocking it down or making it seem like it's not important. Everything that he did at this halftime performance was important. However, for me, I was missing more fun. I was missing more showbiz, more big artist moments. In the sense of, like, I would have loved to seen more reggaeton culture at the halftime. When does a reggaeton artist like Bad Bunny ever get the chance to headline the halftime show? Rare, to the point that people didn't even want it. I thought it was the perfect time to put reggaeton as a genre in music in the biggest stage of the United States. In a global stage at that, because everybody talks about the football, football and the Super Bowl. So I would have loved a set with all the legendary reggaeton artists like Tego Calderon. Daddy Yankee, he's Christian now, and he said he wouldn't do stuff like that. So, anyways, Arcángel, Ivy Queen, you know, like all of the old school, Wisin y Yandel. I would have loved a set that showcased that, because Puerto Rico is known for being pioneers of reggaeton. So I would have loved that. That was my only thing that I was expecting and that I didn't get. Also, I was expecting a Cardi B feature performance, and seeing that Cardi B just went to support him and dancing in La Casita, like, that was cute. Like, I love that my sis is supporting him. But I would have loved the performance too. I think that you could have still had everything that he did plus what I'm talking about, because it even felt short for me. I'm like, damn, that's it. When it ended, I was like, damn, that's it. So that was my only thing. Personally, I would have loved a little bit more turning up. But aside from that, I do know that there was a purpose to his performance. There was a reason why he wanted to do it the way he did it. And he did his thing, and I cannot be mad about it. I'm very proud of Bad Bunny. Just 10 years ago, he was bagging groceries. So if that doesn't let you know, if that doesn't tell you that you could really follow your dreams and work on your dreams hard, you'll get to where you want to be. And it's so cliche to say, and I know that it might feel like, you know, like that is what everyone says, like follow your dreams, work hard on your dreams, never let go of that, you know, stay on site. But it's really the truth. It's literally the truth. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then who will? If you don't believe on your own, and I'm speaking directly to like people in media, content creators. If you don't believe in your own content that you're putting out more than anybody else, your content is never going to work. If you don't think that what you're saying, that what you're putting out has a purpose, whatever purpose that may be, it's never going to work. So you really have to believe in yourself and what you're doing and what you're producing and what you're putting out before you seek the validation of anybody else. Because that's really what's going to feed that consistency that you need in order to blow up. So shout out to Bad Bunny. I'm definitely inspired. I'm definitely feeling like, yo, if Bad Bunny can go in 10 years from bagging groceries at a supermarket to being at the halftime, what the fuck am I doing? I need to get my shit together. I got 10 years to do something big. Anyways, I want you guys to let me know in the comments, what were your thoughts on Bad Bunny's performance? If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, why? Don't just be hating. Like, give me a legitimate reason why. But yeah, let me know.